Welcome to our channel. In this session, we will discuss the concept of different modes of transfer. So simply, the binary information that received from the I/O device to the CPU is stored inside the memory unit. Similarly, the information that transferred from the CPU to the I/O device also requires the memory unit. So the memory unit plays a very crucial role while transfer the data between the CPU and the external I/O devices. So for transfer of data between these two, we have three approaches. The first one is programmed I/O. The first approach name is programmed I/O. The second approach is interrupted initiated I/O, and the third one is direct memory access. So now in this session we are moving to the first approach, that is programmed I/O. Here observe the thing carefully. There is no direct access. No direct access between the memory unit and I/O device. That is, it is directly not possible to place the information from the I/O to memory, or not possible to read the data from the memory to I/O. So internally, for this transfer between these two devices, the CPU needs to execute multiple number of instructions. Why? Because of there is no direct access. To transfer, the CPU execute multiple number of instructions, like an input instruction which is used to read data from the I/O device to CPU, and it needs to execute some store instruction, store the data from the CPU to memory unit, along with some other instructions like where the data is available, how many watts are transferred between the devices. Like that, multiple number of instructions are executed by the CPU to transfer the data between the two devices. Now consider this programmed I/O. We will move with one example. So here this is an I/O device. Okay, I/O device. We already discussed the concept of communicating between the I/O device to CPU. So you remember, CPU does not directly communicate with our I/O device. So each I/O device is connected to the CPU by using an interface. For example, device 1, interface 1, device 2, interface 2. Each interfaces are connected to the CPUs through some bus. That is the discussion already we completed in the last session. Now what happened? Whenever a byte of data is available on the I/O bus, on the I/O device, simply the I/O device places the particular byte. The I/O device places the particular byte in the I/O bus, and then immediately it enables the data valid line. Now the interface reads the data from the I/O device and places the data in the data register. And meanwhile what it does, after placing, status register, which is also maintained by the interface along with one flag. So by default flag is equal to 0. Whenever the data is placed onto the data register, the flag is equal to 1. The flag is set to 1, and then it sends some acknowledgement, that is data accepted. I think you got it. This is like handshaking. Now till now what happened? The first step is, whenever the byte is available, I/O device places the data on the I/O bus and then enable the data valid line. Immediately the data from this bus is placed into the data register and the flag is set. Once flag is set, it sends the data accepted line to the I/O device. Immediately the I/O device disable the data valid line. Remember, even disable in the sense it is not allowed to enter another data, just that is disabled. That is, no other information is not allowed. Now here, what happened in this programmed I/O? The main thing of programmed I/O is the CPU controls the entire data operation. The CPU controls the entire data operation, and the most important thing is CPU continuously check the flag bit in the status register. Whenever the flag bit is set, that means some data is available in the data register and read the data from this register. So here the main thing is CPU continuously check the flag bit. Suppose here first byte is transferred, CPU check the flag bit. Now read the data from the data bus. After that, initially f is equal to 1. After reading the data by the CPU, the flag is clear to 0. Whenever the flag is clear to 0, then the IO data accepted. This is disabled. Whenever the flag is clear to 0 and the interface disable the data accepted line, whenever this data accepted line is disabled, the IO device sends another byte. Got the point? Until disabling of data accepted line, it is not allowed to send. When it is disabled? Whenever flag is equal to 0. When flag is disabled, then CPU reads the data from the data bus. So along with, we already know it contains address bus, IO read operation and IO write operation. Okay, this is how the data is transferred and how the CPU involves in this transfer. Now simple flowchart is simply first we are continuously check the status register. Continuously check the status register. While checking the status register, it check for flag. So first it reads the status register. Simple terms. First it reads the status register. In this check the flag. Suppose if the flag value is equal to 1 or if the flag is equal to 0. If the flag is equal to 1, what is the meaning? Flag is equal to 1 in the sense some data is available on the data register. Simply read data from the data register. Suppose if the flag is equal to 0, CPU continuously checking the status register. Suppose after reading the data, it check my operation is completed or not. If operation is completed, the entire transfer is completed. Suppose if the operation is not completed, again read the status register. This is the flow how we are transfer the data between two devices. The main thing is here CPU continuously involved. Now we understand what is the disadvantage. Obviously the performance of CPU is reduced by instead of doing their own task, it checks the status of the IO device. To overcome such a problem, the second approach is interrupted initiated IO. In the simple term, what happened? CPU is doing their own work. Whenever an IO device is ready with some data, the interface sends an interrupt to the CPU. So device has some data. Then only CPU stops its execution and move to here and do their task. That is do the transfer operation. That is compared to this approach, the interrupt initiated IO is best. And to overcome such a problem also, we are moving to the third approach, that is direct memory access. In that direct memory access, CPU is not at all involved for transfer. Internally, we have a DMA controller. CPU given access of the memory bus to the DMA controller. The DMA controller do the entire operation. Anyway, we will discuss the two techniques in the session by session later. That is the end of programmed IO. Thank you.